A revolutionary. Say whoa. Trap revolutionary. Got the wave of too scary. Doing this thing like Malcolm ain't by any means necessary. We ain't got it by no unseen hand. We got the master plan. Get the move. What's going on, y'all? Y'all want to do this video real quick, man? I end up having a dream about Michael Jackson, man, and I was telling somebody else, and it was kind of funny, you know what I'm saying? Just in a sense, because I was like, man, I had a dream about Michael Jackson, man, and he was just, and I seen him, and he was just chilling on some steps, like literally, you know what I'm saying? He just chilling on some steps. I'm like, damn, I go, Michael, man, don't go holler at him, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't no, how people, you be starstruck. Oh, there go Michael, and anyway, as a man, I'm just like, I wouldn't, that's not man or woman. If it's as a so-called celebrity, man or woman, it's like I'm approaching them like a human being, like a person, normal person. It just happened to be a person with, extraordinary talent in something and widely known. But I think you should, approach them as a normal person, you know what I'm saying? Because nobody wants to be, it's, I honestly think, like, because I wouldn't want nobody to do me like that. Like, you just, fanatical, you know what I'm saying, about, a person. This I don't think you should treat anybody like that. You should, I think, be respectful and treat them like a normal person, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, I actually, heard celebrities say that, like, hey man, it's like it's too much, when people run up on them, and kind of it's you kind of make them leery or kind of freak them out a little bit, kind of weird them out a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Because just the behavior, but yeah, man, he was just chilling, and I'm like, and I'm thinking about like, dang, why did I have that dream, And I'm just thinking about it, and I do believe that we have dreams for certain reasons, and I also I think we can go to a certain spiritual level to where our spirits are in tune with the universe, so much so, and spiritual beings, because when we leave here, we it's where we end up being. We return to our natural selves, our spiritual essence, so I think that if we are in tune with our spiritual selves, so much so that we can communicate with people that have transition. You know what I'm saying? That's why I think, that's why I think. That's what I know to be true, and I'm gonna stick with that. But yeah, man, he was just chilling. No, it wasn't no sadness or nothing like that. Like he was just at peace. Of course, like I said, you did have clothes on. It was a dream or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I think when we do have dreams, you do have to see it in a familiar form, So it was in that sense that I saw him on stairs, It's a place I wasn't familiar with, but, he wasn't performing. He wasn't, looking like, trying to perform or nothing like that. It looked like he was just chilling at peace, like literally. And I'm like, damn, there go Mike, man, let me go holler at him. You know what I'm saying? That's how I felt. Like, damn, I want to go holler at him, man, see what he, you know what I'm saying, see what's going on with him. I didn't feel a sense of like, how can I say it? A sense of, where I was just, at a loss of words, or, like I said before, I was starstruck, or just felt, leery about hollering him, or not necessarily leery, but hesitant. I didn't even feel that. I was just like, let me go holler at Mike, man, over there chilling, you know what I'm saying? Let me go out, show, want to holler at him, see what he talking about, you know what I'm saying? And shoot, he had, he had that red Thriller jacket on, you know what I'm saying? I kid you not, I was like, man, how did I end up having this dream like this? You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna even lie. I was on ChatGPT asking, like, man, like, why did I have this dream about Michael Jackson? You know what I'm saying? Of course, ChatGPT was probably just, telling me like, ChatGPT is gonna kind of be like, it kind of feeds into what you're talking about it, but I just want to see what I was gonna get back, from it. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, you could have had the dream because you're working on so many things, music, YouTube, you know, um, movies and all that type of stuff. So, you're seeing greatness. You're trying basically you're chasing greatness. You're trying to be great. Also I did also another thing I did a video about Drewski's skit or his trailer about Joe Jackson. So, that's kind of been thinking about that as well. But so that I think played a part of me, like I said, having the dream or whatever. But like I said, ChatGPT was like, hey, basically you're chasing greatness. Also you've done some things where it may intersect with your, at rest state to where your mind is kind of going over those things, and you end up having a dream to somebody you associated with some of the things you're doing. Like I said, like I did that Joe Jackson video about the trailer that Drewski did about Joe Jackson. So, that it ain't, of course, that that may be it too. But I do think though, like I said, spiritually, if we are in tune, we can communicate with higher forms of ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Spiritual. Like I said, people that have transitioned, and become their higher self. So in some form of fashion. I feel like that's just what it is. I know some people don't believe, like we talk about, communicating, or our ancestors or people that have gone before us, they still can communicate with us. Like, and I go back to say too, because another thing that I know to be true, like when I say like, we there's no death. Like we don't die. Our bodies, of course, return to the dust, whatever, return to the earth. But our spirits are, last forever. Our spirits are eternal, So, if in that sense, like I always say, if we are redeemed in Jesus, or, what I call God, the Creator, the divine Creator, Ptah, the ancient Kemetic name for God, if we are redeemed in the Creator, if our spirits do not perish, we are eternal beings, then there is no death. And the fact I know that, like, our grandmothers, our grandfathers, great grandfathers, grandmother, they are there helping us through this life. Ancient uncles, aunties, well, whatever it may be, right? Our dad's mothers may have passed, whatever. They're helping us. I don't believe there's death. I believe though, our family members have transitioned and they're still there to help us. So nobody can tell me different. If you want to believe that your loved ones are, gone, hey, that's your belief. But for me, I think our spirits are eternal, and we will continue even when we leave here. We'll help our loved ones that may be still here, or whoever that we are assigned to help. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, but yeah, I just want to get on here and make that video because I just thought about that, man. I just had that dream, and I'm like, dang, it was honestly, man, it was powerful. Like, it really felt powerful, and it's like, I'm still in awe, like, that I had the dream. I'm glad I did, you know what I'm saying? Because I am, I want to be great. I want to be the greatest, whether it be music, film, business, you know what I'm saying? So that's, yeah, I do, and I was thinking about today, matter of fact, I was coming from the gym, and I was thinking about it, I was like, man, I gotta get on my Moose King, man. I gotta get on my focus and stay on it. You know what I'm saying? Because ain't nobody gonna give me nothing. No one is gonna give me anything. So it's up to me to create it. So, and I was thinking about that. Let me go ahead and focus so I can create what I want to create before I leave here. You know what I'm saying? That's another thing, segue into what I'm talking about. Like, I want to make films about the revolutionaries. You know what I'm saying? I know if 50 Cent can make movies about, basically the life of drugs and sex and murder, whatever. I can make movies about the revolutionaries. You know what I'm saying? Because we end up learning about, I see him telling somebody the other day, with David Crockett, Daniel Boone, Alexander Hamilton, George Washington, the so-called revolutionaries, John Adams or whoever it may be, who have been here. You know what I'm saying? People that so-called fought for our independence, or Texas to be a republic or whatever. Then I know that we need to tell stories about our revolutionaries a lot and not let this mainstream society demonize our revolutionaries. Fred Hampton, George Jackson, Malcolm X, Martin, Marcus Garvey, even the Panthers, you know what I'm saying? Like Geronimo Pratt, Huey P. Newton, it's so many. Kwame Ture, I can just continue naming, you know what I'm saying? Angela Davis, like I said, Sada Shakur, I mean, even the sister of Dr. Francis Quest Wilson, they were, Dr. John Henry Clark, they were our revolutionaries. And then I'm gonna even take it to this point. They'll teach us the story about Jesus, but they don't tell us the true story that even Jesus was a revolutionary, fighting for the change that he wanted to see for his people. You know what I'm saying? And the reason they kill him, like they do all our people, all our revolutionaries, because they had the ability to change the hearts and minds of the people. That's just what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna sit up here and try to make it seem like, oh, it was just a passive, just being turning the cheek and, type situation. Nah, man. No, we're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Jesus had the ability to change the hearts and the minds of people, and they took him out because of that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And the crazy part about it, and I'm gonna say this, no one will get a flack for it. If Jesus came back right now, guess what they'll do? They'll string him up on the cross again. That's what I'm talking about. All our revolutionaries, they end up causing their demise, causing some type of way, taking them out the game because they had the ability to change the hearts and minds of the people. And they don't want to see him hurt because they want their system to continue to thrive. The Greco-Roman era, all the way to the up until the era of Arab invasion of Egypt, Kemet, all the way up to Arabic slave trade, European slave trade, even to the founder of this country. You know what I'm saying? They want their system to thrive and ours to basically cause our way of life, our demise. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, you just have to tell the truth about it. I want to tell the stories about the revolutionary. And that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna back away from it. Feel like that's one of the things I'm here to do. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, that's what needs to happen. Telling the truth about the revolutionaries, you know what I'm saying? And so anyway, that I would say, I believe that probably is why, I did have that dream. Like, cause I'm trying to figure out how can I be great? Strive for greatness every day. You know what I'm saying? Doing something constructive every day. And not turn away from it. I think, and that's another thing. Jesus, all the revolutionaries, they knew, they like, man, I'm not gonna turn away from it. Like, I don't, you wanna, take this spirit out of me. But God put that spirit in me, and I'm not gonna turn back from it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say I'm a revolutionary. That's why I, side with the revolutionaries. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna let these people demonize our people, our revolutionaries. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they've done, basically. So it's up to us to tell the story. And I feel like that's what I'm here to do. But anyway, I'm gonna get up out here, y'all. Just want to say that. I hope y'all out there doing well, living life full of love and happiness, being great, strive for greatness every day. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all, you know what I'm saying, liking, sharing, comment on my videos. Like I said, we can agree to disagree. If we agree, cool. If we disagree, cool too. You know what I'm saying? We can hash it out. But I'm always be respectful, man. Ask y'all to be respectful to me as well. Anyway, y'all, get up out here. Love y'all. All right, y'all.
fuck it, go ahead and blow off the dope. Step through the maze, man, and became amazing. About to rewrite history and change a page in a crooked book that never told us the true story. Like how we were kings and queens before the slave story, before the killing, stealing, and drug dealing. On some real shit, we ran the world.